Hi LEGO fans! LEGO just dropped a ton of new Harry Potter sets for summer 2022, and like a fool, you're a fool, Jeremy Herbert, and you will lose everything from your bank account. Yes, like a fool, I ran out and bought 40560, this epic collection of brickheads, 76400, Hogwarts Carriage and Thestrals, oh you see them too, 76401, Hogwarts Courtyard Sirius's Rescue, 76402, Hogwarts Dumbledore's Office, 76403, The Ministry of Magic, 76406, Hungarian Horntail Dragon, 76407, The Shrieking Shack and Whomping Willow, and both of the new keyrings, Dumbledore and Voldemort. But today, I'm going to be unboxing, speed building, and reviewing set number 76408, 12 Grimmauld Place, from LEGO Harry Potter. This 1003-piece set recreates the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix, which can be found at 12 Grimmauld Place, London. Even better, you can go visit the filming location at 23 to 29 Claremont Square, Islington, London, or check out a recreation at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando, Florida. But I digress. The set recreates a terrace of 3 Georgian houses, or as we'd call them in America, row homes. The really cool thing about this set is that 12 Grimmauld Place emerges magically from between numbers 11 and 13, just like we see in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The part count also includes a lineup of 9 magically magnificent and, at the time of filming, exclusive minifigures. We've got the boy what gone done lived, Harry Potter, least loved by the mother who craved a daughter, Ron Weasley, Harry's godfather and notorious mass murderer Sirius Black, notable metamorphomagist Nymphadora, don't call me Nymphadora, it's Tonks! The Black family's house elf Kreacher, mudbloods and werewolves and traitors and thieves, poor old Kreacher. Weasley family matriarch and brilliantly badass Bellatrix banisher Molly Weasley. Oh, just because you're allowed to use magic now does not mean you have to whip your wands out for everything! We also have the Weasley twins Fred and George, and finally Aura and protector of the Muggle Prime Minister, Kingsley Shacklebolt. Adding some feline presence to the set, we have Hermione's cat Crookshanks, which may well have been named after this London street, and despite creating some new broomstick elements, I see minifigures are no more adept at riding them. Over on the back of the box we get to peek inside the Black family home, which is magically expanded to fill the interior of all 3 Georgian houses. Interior features include the room with tapestry wall coverings that trace the Black family tree, a room with a piano and a Ron who looks slightly too happy to see Hermione's cat, and Kreacher's closet. Up in the top of the house and adding a creepy vibe, we find the skeletons of 2 previous house elves. This is also a convenient spot for eavesdropping on the Order of the Phoenix using some extendable ears. Far from being a Grimmauld LEGO set, this looks pretty cool and has a bunch of interesting details. So let's open up this box and see what we've got inside. Here's everything you get inside the box, neatly packaged up in single-use plastic. We've got 8 bags of LEGO numbered for stages 1 through 7, a weird bendy thing for the extendable ears, a 150-page instruction booklet in the new white colour scheme, and joy of joys, the sticker sheet. I'm going to go ahead and put together 76408, 12 Grimmauld Place, and today this is going to be a 90-second speed build. And here is the completed 76408 12 Grimmauld Place from LEGO Harry Potter. Build time today was 1 hour and 40 minutes, and a fascinating build it is too. First we're going to take a look at the rather spiffing Georgian exterior and reveal the Order of the Phoenix headquarters before ruining the magic. We'll then move inside to explore the ancestral home of the Black family. Well, I say ancestral, but the Georgian exterior dates it to no earlier than 1714. After exploring all of the rooms and finding some dark secrets, we'll get up close and personal with the magically magnificent minifigures and compare them to their on-screen counterparts to make sure LEGO was paying attention. Spoiler alert, Sirius is not wearing his lucky suit. Let's get these characters out of the way so we can take a look around. The set itself is very impressive and is going to look great on display, but be sure to leave around 12 inches or 30 centimeters of headroom. With Grimmauld Place concealed from muggles, the footprint is quite compact. The downside is that this makes the building quite a bit deeper. Personally, I prefer to display this with Grimmauld Place revealed. I find this most aesthetically pleasing, and it's also easier to display on a narrow shelf. Because let's face it, shelf space is a big problem for most LEGO collectors. Grimmauld Place is tucked away in northwestern London, a 20-minute walk from King's Cross station. In fact, the real location in Claremont Square, Islington, London is about a 20-minute walk from King's Cross. If you haven't already figured it out, Grimmauld Place is a play on the words Grim Old Place. 12 Grimmauld Place is unplottable and hidden from muggle view behind a Fidelius charm. Thankfully we know somebody who can reveal its secrets. The headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix can be found behind door number 12. Thankfully the muggles have long since accepted the curious numbering sequence which omits number 12. Leading up to each of the houses we have a fine set of Georgian steps. This is very common in London, as are basement apartments. As far as the LEGO model is concerned, only door number 12 opens, the rest are dummy doors. The detail we see on each door is unfortunately a sticker, but all of the stickered detail fits in with the Georgian era. The Georgian era is a period of British history from 1714 to about 1830 or 1837, and named after Kings George I, George II, George III, and George IV. Prince George of Cambridge is third in line to the British throne, and could one day potentially become King George VII. But back to the LEGO. Whilst the muggle homes on either side have been renovated and generally spruced up, 12 Grimmauld Place remains discoloured by years of London pollution. I like the way LEGO has picked out Grimmauld Place in a different colour. This colour of brick is used quite extensively in Georgian buildings. But over time, pollution, particularly from London's factories, turns the bricks grey. This happened to another famous London property, 10 Downing Street. It will have looked more like this when it was built, and nowadays they actually paint the bricks grey. The door of Grimmauld Place is not dissimilar to that used by the Muggle Prime Minister. Other architectural features include decorative railings, and small windows which won't let in a lot of light. The second floor is equally decorative with more windows. The decorative arches are a really nice touch. LEGO has even incorporated the decorative railings outside the first floor windows. These are not balconies but do allow you to open the window panes to let in some air. The upper floors of Georgian homes would usually be inhabited by servants. These would have smaller windows and lower ceiling heights. Notice on the real building how things change as you move up the floors. That would be difficult to recreate in a LEGO building of this scale, so all the floors are the same height. When you get to roof level, you'll notice number 12 is constructed a little bit differently. I'm not sure why LEGO included 2x1 slopes other than to allow for the sand green detail. It certainly gives the impression of age and neglect. The roof is totally flat, which will be a nightmare to maintain. Here we find traditional features such as a chimney and a brick-built TV antenna. It's a shame LEGO didn't resurrect the elements they used to use in the 1970s and 1980s. The other notable exterior feature of this build are the rather nice street lamps. These use elements you see more commonly in modular buildings, and I like the inclusion of gold unicorn horns to add to the decorative aesthetic. We actually get 2 Georgian street lamps on either side of the building, although technically 12 Grimmauld Place is a mid-terrace property. Very decorative this building may be, but you didn't come here for an architecture lesson. So let's spin this around and check out the interior. The interior of 12 Grimmauld Place sits on 3 different floors and includes a lot of very cool details. It also spans the width of all 3 houses. I sense an undetectable extension charm at play here. The interior layout of 12 Grimmauld Place is not exactly movie accurate. The front door, for example, leads directly into the kitchen, but LEGO has included some details from that dingy dark hallway. Sadly, we can't see the portrait hidden behind the curtains. If we could, you'd be looking into the eyes of Sirius's mother, Weasley Black. One little detail I do like is the inclusion of the lamp above the portrait. Related to the portrait, we find the umbrella stand which Nymphadora Tonks knocks over with a crash. Filth, scum, byproducts of dirt and vileness, half-breeds, mutants, freaks, begone from this place! How dare you befoul the house of my fathers! Yes, Weasley Black was a pure-blood supremacist. I can see what LEGO was trying to do, but it doesn't really come off very convincingly. The umbrella stand kind of looks like an elephant's foot. In reality, and more convincingly portrayed in the movie, this was made out of a troll's leg. At least LEGO includes an umbrella so we can tell what it's meant to be. Also in the hallway we find a side table complete with lamp and decorative bowl. Hanging above the hallway and distracting your attention from the mechanism, we have this rather nice crystal chandelier. If you so choose, this also has a really nice spinning action. Over on the other side, things are pretty bare apart from an innocuous door. I wonder what's inside. Mudbloods and werewolves and traitors and thieves. Poor old Kreacher. This would appear to be Kreacher's den, a dark, dingy, cupboard-like room under the pipes. We're lacking the nest-like jumbled pile of assorted rags and blankets, but Kreacher is clutching Master Regulus's locket. The locket was in fact originally owned by Salazar Slytherin. After being passed down through Slytherin's dependents, it ended up in the hands of the Gaunt family. Merope Gaunt sold it to Caractacus Burke for 10 galleons, much less than its true value. It first came to the attention of Tom Riddle after it was shown to him by Hepzibah Smith while Tom was working at Borgin and Burke's. Riddle murdered Smith to get his hands on the locket and turned it into his third Horcrux. It was hidden in the seaside cave which you may recognise from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Regulus Black, in an attempt to weaken the Dark Lord, swapped the locket. Regulus was killed by the Inferi, but his assistant Kreacher was able to successfully switch the lockets and escape. That's how the third Horcrux happened to be in Kreacher's possession before it was stolen by Mundungus Fletcher. Inside the fake Horcrux, Regulus left a note for the Dark Lord. I have stolen the real Horcrux and intend to destroy it as soon as I can. I face death in the hope that when you meet your match, you will be mortal once more. Winding the clock forward, Harry and Ron eventually destroy the Horcrux using the Sword of Gryffindor. The LEGO version of the Horcrux is made from a 1x1 printed round tile. You can make out the shape of the locket and the badly printed Slytherin serpent. Adding a little decoration to this room, we have another crystal chandelier and a gold and silver chalice which sit on top of Kreacher's cupboard. Moving into the kitchen, we have the perfect place for a secret meeting of the Order of the Phoenix. At least it would be if we didn't have a group of eavesdroppers. Unfortunately for Fred and George, their extendable ears are absolutely irresistible to manky moggies like Crookshanks. LEGO's recreation of the auditory aid is quite faithful to the movie. At one end we have an earpiece for listening. In this case, LEGO has just used a wand. At the other end we find a flesh-coloured 1x1 round tile with a printed ear upon it. It's not totally convincing, but you get the idea. The two functional pieces are connected together using a long flexible part. With the Order spooked by the extendable ears, we can take a closer look around the Grimmauld Place kitchen. Like the movie, we have a long kitchen table suitable for large gatherings. There are even tankards for butterbeer and glasses for fire whiskey. You'll also notice the latest copy of the Daily Prophet. Harry seems less than impressed with today's headline. It's a really nice 2x2 printed tile spilling the beans about the boy who lies. This is of course all misinformation spread by Minister of Magic Cornelius Fudge. Also in the kitchen we find a well-stocked dresser with more of those butterbeer tankards. Being a kitchen, we also find a range or cooker complete with frying pan and saucepan. This is conveniently removable. There are another pair of studs on the other side of the kitchen where you could also put the range or just use them for posing minifigures. Beyond being an ideal place for a meeting of the Order of the Phoenix, the kitchen at Grimmauld Place is also a good place to enjoy Christmas. Moving up to the next level of Grimmauld Place, we find 3 more rooms to explore. The room to the left is in no way exciting, it just contains an overstuffed armchair. The rather dark room in the middle contains a piano which is technically meant to be a grand piano. This was featured briefly in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, where we see Hermione trying to teach Ron how to play Fleur Elise. Somewhat fittingly, LEGO has included 2 seats, but we lack Hermione Granger. These are not uncommon elements, but it's really nice to get the printed piano octaves. The box on top of the piano is a little bit more of an enigma. This is a radio the trio listened to Potter Watch on in the Deathly Hallows. Alongside the radio is a pretty good recreation of the antique lamp, and hiding away in the shadows is what looks like the Black family crest. More art on the other wall reveals a skull on a table with a bunch of grapes. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. In the final room on this level, courtesy of 2 large stickered panels, we have the Black family tree. The family tree is stitched into an intricate tapestry on display in the drawing room at 12 Grimmauld Place. The noble house of Black became extinct in the male line with the deaths of Sirius and Regulus Black, neither of whom had children. The female line did continue with the Malfoys, the Potters, the Weasleys, and Delphine, Bellatrix's illegitimate daughter with Lord Voldemort. Yes, this totally happened. Stitched into the top of the tapestry we have some Latin. According to Google Translate, this means noble stock and ancient black race. I'm not convinced that's the exact translation, but you get the idea. Here we also have the Black family crest, and a bunch of family members, some of whom are more recognisable than others. I definitely recognise Bellatrix Lestrange, but I'm pretty sure Pomona Sprout was not part of the Black family tree. Other members of the family who fell out of favour, including Sirius and Regulus, were stricken from the record by Wahlburger Black. Draco seems to have made the cut, as does somebody who bears an uncanny resemblance to Captain Jack Sparrow. Despite some fiddly stickering, the graphic design work is actually pretty good. Moving up to the 3rd and final level, we find 3 more rooms. In the far corner we find the bedroom of Sirius Black. Sirius was the only member of the family to be sorted into Gryffindor, which particularly angered his mother. As well as the Gryffindor house shield, his bedroom also had posters of motorcycles and muggle girls in bikinis. A permanent sticking charm ensured these could not be removed. The bats, or more accurately bat skeletons, are a nice nod to the Deathly Hallows Part 1. You know, the one where Dobby gets shanked. Partway into the movie, before infiltrating the Ministry of Magic, we see Harry playing with Sirius's skeleton automatons. These are really cool elements, and I don't think we've seen them in this colour before. Sirius's bed seems relatively modern, and I like the piece at the end which keeps the minifigure in place. One last piece of notable decoration is the red gemstone above the window. So if that was Sirius's room, then this must be the bedroom of Regulus Arcturus Black. This room also contains a neatly made bed, and some curious artwork which looks a little bit like the British coastline. I wonder if this is a map showing the cave where Regulus swapped the locket. Other notable features include a red cup sat above the window, and the real locket, presumably before it was stolen by Mundungus Fletcher. Finally, we have possibly the most disturbing thing about Grimmauld Place. These may look like skeleton heads in a jar, but are actually the dismembered heads of house elves. Elidora Black started the family tradition of cutting the heads off the house elves when they were too old to carry tea trays. In the book, the heads were mounted on plaques, but in the film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the heads were mounted in bell jars and put on display by the stairs leading to the upper floors. Like the movie, the LEGO set also has bell jars rather than wall-mounted plaques. It's nonetheless very creepy thinking about house elves getting summarily executed when they grow too old to carry the tea. Providing illumination so we can look upon the pained faces of the expired house elves, we find a LEGO-built candle, and this also sheds some light upon art hanging on the wall. I'm not sure what this one is, although it does look like the one in Regulus's bedroom, but I suspect this may be Elidora Black with a recently deceased house elf. Far from being a grim old place, this set contains a treasure trove of details from the movies. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. We also have a fabulous selection of 9 magically magnificent minifigures. Kingsley Shacklebolt, Nymphadora Tonks, Sirius Black, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Molly Weasley, Fred Weasley, George Weasley, and Nasty Brat, standing there as bold as brass. Kreacher, that's enough of your bile, away with you! And of course, bad-tempered house elf, Kreacher. First up we have Kingsley Shacklebolt, the pureblood wizard and aura. Kingsley also protected the Muggle Prime Minister and was eventually made Minister for Magic after ridding the Ministry of corruption and discrimination. It was Kingsley who made Harry Potter the head of the aura department. We don't know much about Kingsley's wand, but I like the use of a black wand for the Lego set. The printing does a nice job of recreating the costume worn by Kingsley in the Order of the Phoenix. I especially like the gold detailing on Kingsley's robes. The main disappointment is the hat, which lacks any kind of printing. The robes are very distinctive and reminiscent of tribal robes you might see in Ghana or Nigeria. LEGO have done a really nice job of the printing, and I like the continuity from the torso onto the legs. Additional printing on the back of the torso picks out the hood, but as you'd expect with the back of the head on display, we only have one facial expression on this minifigure. I don't think this is a particularly good recreation of the actor George Harris, but it does a good job of picking out the friendly and generally laid back Kingsley Shacklebolt. As well as a black wand, Kingsley also comes with a black broomstick, useful for recreating the rescue of Harry from Privet Drive. This incorporates two new elements, the most interesting of which can be found at the end of the broom. It's a hollow piece and it looks like you can insert a Technic axle in the end. While the handle might look like a standard antenna piece, the broom handle on the left has a blunt end, while the more traditional aerial, which came from a 1980s space set, has a nicely rounded end. One thing LEGO hasn't addressed with the new broomsticks is how to make a minifigure ride them. It still looks a little bit awkward. I confess I do like the torso and leg printing on the new Kingsley a little better than the one we got with Collectible Minifigures Series 2. The non-printed hat, however, is a big letdown. Notwithstanding, the recreation of the character as seen in the movie is very, very good. You have to admit, Kingsley has style. Next we have Metamorphmagus, Aura, and member of the Order of the Phoenix, Nymphadora Tonks. Don't call me Nymphadora. Similar to the Kingsley Shacklebolt minifigure, this one has all new parts. Tonks attended Hogwarts at the same time as Charlie Weasley and was sorted into Hufflepuff. No wonder she gets angry really easily. Like the other auras, Nymphadora, or Dora as she prefers to be called, is equipped with a wand, this time in dark brown. Dora also comes with one of the new style brooms, this time in 2 shades of brown. The printing on this minifigure is really, really good, and does a good job of recreating the costume we saw in the movie. It looks especially sharp because of the amount of metallic silver detail. The printed costume is absolutely full of detail down to the studded collar, and the necklace we see actor Natalia Tenner wearing in the Order of the Phoenix. As well as the exquisite detail on the front of the minifigure, we also get some printed detail around the back which shows the hood of the robes, and how exceptionally well fitted they were to the actor. Another detail you'll notice is that Tonks is wearing gloves. As I mentioned earlier, Tonks is a Metamorphmagus. This describes a witch or wizard with the rare magical ability to change their physical appearance through sheer will alone. We see this demonstrated in the kitchen when Tonks turns her nose into that of a pig, and then sprouts the beak of a duck. One really nice feature about this minifigure is that you can do the same with the alternate expression. Another cool party trick and money saver is that she can change the colour of her hair at will. The facial printing is really nicely done and a good recreation of the character from the movie. I've heard that Tonks might be making an appearance in the 2022 Harry Potter Advent Calendar minus the printed legs. Notwithstanding, this is easily the best Tonks minifigure I've seen to date. Next we have Harry Potter's godfather, Sirius Black, as played by the excellent Gary Oldman. Sirius has various costume changes throughout the Order of the Phoenix, but this is what we see him wearing in the Department of Mysteries towards the end of the movie, and indeed Sirius's life. The hair is absolutely perfect for the character and has been used for 3 other Sirius Black minifigures. The printing is nicely done with some subtle metallic printing. We see Sirius wearing a striped shirt with vest and dapper green robes. The striped detail on the robes continues on the back of the torso. It is truly an outfit to die for. Sorry, too soon? We don't know much about Sirius's wand, here recreated in black. I guess that's quite appropriate. It's likely the wand was bought at Ollivander's before Sirius started at Hogwarts in 1971. The facial expression is really nicely done, showing a contemplative expression. That of course all changes when somebody tries to zap his godson. I like that LEGO has paid really close attention to recreating the costume we saw towards the end of the Order of the Phoenix. This is of course until Bellatrix hits Sirius with a spell, and he falls back into the Vale, crossing the barrier between the land of the living and the land of the dead. Sirius, aka Padfoot or Snuffles, is a great minifigure. Okay, so some of the leg printing is a little bit wonky, but he's a really important character and it's great to have him within the 12 Grimmauld Place set. Next we have what is in my opinion the least exciting minifigure of the set. It's a boy what gone done lived, Harry Potter! He's right to be annoyed because LEGO have included absolutely zero new parts for this minifigure. The legs are generic blue legs which look like they just came out of my parts collection. The only printed part is a torso which has some metallics for the zipper. We see Harry wearing this as he's rescued from 4 Privet Drive by the Order of the Phoenix. There's a little bit more printing around the back, and if this looks familiar, you'd be absolutely right. This torso print was first used in the 2019 wave of Harry Potter sets. These included 75945 Expecto Patronum, 75947 Hagrid's Hut, and 75957 The Night Bus. I guess we'll be getting a new one of those soon. Harry does of course come with a wand, this time in dark brown. This is his first wand, made of holly, with a phoenix feather core, length of 11 inches, and nice and supple. The facial expression shows a rather pissed off looking Potter. But that all changes when he realises that Sirius Black is at 12 Grimmauld Place. As well as a wand, Harry also comes with one of the new style brooms used to help him escape from Privet Drive. Does this minifigure accurately recreate the character we saw in the movie? Well, I guess so, but it does feel like a minimum viable product. While I can't complain about the lineup of minifigures generally within this set, Harry Potter has to be the weakest link. After the disappointment of a totally recycled Harry Potter, at least we've got a new 1-1. I say new, but those standard non-printed legs are a stock part. Similarly, the hair is used on many minifigures. The facial expression is also not new. Like Harry, it was introduced in the 2019 wave of LEGO Harry Potter sets. This shows a rather sheepish looking Ron Weasley, with an alternate expression that makes him look a lot less happy. If my face had been printed with that level of quality control, I think I'd be unhappy too. Once again, LEGO has been paying attention to the costumes from the movie. They've managed to accurately recreate the stripes on Ron's shirt. Unfortunately, one detail that LEGO missed is that Ron's shirt is actually a t-shirt. Some dual moulded arms would have been a welcome addition here. At least LEGO took their time to print the back of the torso with the same stripy design. Like most of the other characters, Ron comes with a wand. This would be 14 inches long, made of willow with a core of unicorn hair. As Ron's first wand was broken by the Whomping Willow, this would be the replacement wand Ron got when Arthur Weasley won the Galleon Draw in 1993. Comparing the minifigure to the costume worn by Rupert Grint in the Order of the Phoenix, LEGO has done a really nice job, with the exception of course of those arms. While it's great to get Ron in this set, it is a shame we don't have Hermione to help teach him piano. The other notable exception is of course Ginny. I would have loved to have seen a Ginny minifigure wearing this costume. From the youngest son, we move on to the fiercely protective matriarch of the Weasley family, Molly Weasley. For this minifigure, we do have a new torso and leg design, but I'm really not sure about the colours. If you check out the movie, Molly was wearing a dress which was more of a khaki colour. Despite the dodgy choice of base colour, the printed detail is actually quite accurate. And we even have the decoration on the front of Molly Wobble's outfit. I wonder if this was some kind of alteration that Molly made to accommodate a growing bosom. We find more of that printed detail around the back, but why LEGO? Why bright light orange? Pleasingly colour coordinated to match her hair, Molly Weasley holds the wand that will eventually kill Bellatrix Lestrange. Speaking of the killing curse, I would use it on whoever gave Molly that hideous haircut. I don't know what you were thinking LEGO, but this is definitely not like the hair that Julie Walters wore in the movie. Similarly, I am not a fan of the facial expression, which looks nothing like the character. The same can be said for the maniacal alternate expression. This facial expression was also used for Mrs. Flume, the co-proprietor of Honeyduke Sweet Shop, founder of Hufflepuff House, Helga Hufflepuff, and going off franchise, Aunt Beru from Star Wars. Comparing the minifigure to the character in the movie, it's clear LEGO made a good effort to try and match all of the detail and then printed it on the wrong colour parts. I am not a fan of the latest versions of the Molly Weasley minifigures. Molly looked so much better in the original 4840, the Burrow set. While a new hairstyle and refreshed makeup would go down well, Molly is a really important character to have in this set, not least for recreating some fun with apparition. Next we have serial jokers, Fred and George Weasley. This is Fred on the left. He's not Fred, I am. Honestly woman, you call yourself our mother? Only joking, Fred is on the left and George is on the right. I feel bad for showing them both at the same time, but hey, this video's already 4 months overdue. There are a lot of similarities, not least the plain brown legs. But at least the Weasley twins come with different coloured wands. You'll notice Fred's is ever so slightly darker. Fred's wand was thought to be about 14 inches long, while George's was much shorter at 10 3/4 inches. Of course, this didn't stop Fred Weasley getting killed in the Battle of Hogwarts. In later life, George married Angelina Johnson and they had a son who was named Fred in honour of his late twin. If you were paying close attention to the Order of the Phoenix, you'd have noticed both twins were wearing matching shirts. The printed details on the minifigures are simplified, but the colours are a great recreation of the costumes seen in the movie. Again, you'll notice the characters were wearing short sleeves. This is not the case with the minifigure, and again, it would have been great to see dual moulded arms. Taking a look at the back of the torso, you can see more of the printed design. This also confirms that the torso prints are identical. The same can be said for the same signature Weasley hair which can be seen on other Fred and George minifigures. The facial print used for George Weasley is full of fun and can also be found in the collectible minifigures Series 2 and 75978 Diagon Alley. There is an alternate expression which shows George's smile turning into fits of laughter. Fred's facial expression is also full of fun, although if you stare deep into the eyes, I do see a tinge of sadness. Even with the alternate expression, Fred just seems a little more morose. Clearly we couldn't have an Order of the Phoenix era Grimmauld Place without Fred and George. I love the attention to detail that LEGO put into the costumes and how well they match the movie characters. We'll let you off the short sleeve shirts, LEGO. And finally for our Grimmauld Place minifigure lineup, it's the bundle of joy whose glass is always half full, Kreacher the house elf. Kreacher served the Black family at Grimmauld Place until the death of Sirius Black in 1996. Along with the rest of Sirius's possessions, Kreacher became the property of Harry Potter. This is the first and so far only recreation of Kreacher in minifigure form, and what a great job LEGO has done. Okay, so those generic grey legs may not exactly be exciting, but we do have a nicely printed torso showing the torn, ragged, dirty clothes which Kreacher wears. Around the back, more printing depicting the dirty rags. House elves of course don't need wands to do magic. Instead, he holds Master Regulus's locket which is later gifted to him by Harry Potter. This helped Kreacher become much more friendly to the nasty little brat. He even took part in the Battle of Hogwarts alongside the other house elves. According to J.K. Rowling, Kreacher died sometime after 2017 at the ripe old age of 666. Kreacher was described as having a bulbous snout-like nose, bloodshot eyes, many folds of skin, and white hair growing out of his bat-like ears. Although the bloodshot eyes and white hair growing out of the bat-like ears is missing. Looking at the eye printing, it's perhaps as well that LEGO didn't try to make them bloodshot. They did a much better job with the bat-like ears and the bulbous nose. Kreacher is a very distinctive character and must have been difficult to recreate. That said, I think LEGO have done a really nice job here. Their ability to mould really detailed minifigure heads has come along in leaps and bounds. Whilst there are notable omissions from the lineup, I've got to say this collection of 9 minifigures is absolutely great. In addition, we also get Hermione's cat Crookshanks, but this is pretty rubbish. Crookshanks, as shown in the movie, has a type of cat's face known as a pansy face. You'll notice this orange imposter is much skinnier. LEGO clearly thought they could stamp some ink on a generic cat and call it good. So that was set number 76408, 12 Grimmauld Place, from LEGO Harry Potter! This is a really nice set, which is why I chose to review it first, about 4 months ago before I broke my leg. Yes, that's just one of the reasons why I've not been filming. I really like the thoughtfully recreated Georgian exterior, and the mechanism which makes Grimmauld Place emerge from an ordinary terrace of muggle houses. The features inside are well researched and include movie-accurate recreations from the Order of the Phoenix and the Deathly Hallows. While the minifigure lineup may be a little incomplete, it is sufficient to recreate some key scenes from the Order of the Phoenix. Best of all, LEGO did not scrimp on some of the more gruesome features. I can promise you Dobby and Kreacher were not hurt. Or were they? I know it's been a very long time since I put out a video, so I hope you enjoyed this one, and thank you for bearing with me. If you'd like to keep up with what I'm doing between shoots, then do check out my Instagram, @Jeremy Herbert Official. Above all, I really hope you enjoyed this LEGO Harry Potter unboxing, speed build and review video. If you did, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for occasional Harry Potter goodness. Thanks a million for checking out the review, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next build video.